acting, bro. Welcome everyone to the first episode of the Watch Party. I'm your host Dylan Mielke, where we can all watch The Walking Dead together. The Walking Dead is a story about how the apocalypse changes the world, but not just the world, the people. It's a show about survival, human nature, leadership, and morality. Our story of The Walking Dead starts off with our main character, Rick Grimes, in a coma. He's a sheriff's deputy who lands himself in a shootout. When he wakes up, everything he knew about the world changes. Through all the chaos, Rick just learned he must find his family and protect them of the new evils of the earth. In this episode, we'll be strictly focusing on episode 1 of the show. And I didn't think of anyone better to bring on than Jake Gerrits. Jake Gerrits, I know you're a pretty big fan of The Walking Dead, right?
Sure am.
Do you have any way to prove that to us?
Oh, man. If there's one way to prove to you I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, back in 2020, got myself Daryl Dixon angel wings on my arm for a tattoo. If that doesn't prove my credibility, then I don't know what does.
I'm not going to lie, Jake. You kind of gave me Daryl vibes.
Yes, sir. I'm given by a lot of people. I have the angel wing vest when I used to go riding with my dad on the Harley. And just overall, I feel like I'm around him sometimes.
So what do you think about season 1 of The Walking Dead? What are your thoughts?
Season 1 of The Walking Dead was definitely a good way to get the show going. We definitely know how it has changed throughout the season or throughout the series, because at the first season we had a lot of walkers who would seem to be able to do a lot of acrobatic abilities by like jumping over fences, running, and now like later on in the series all they do is just crawl and make their way slowly around the area. But Walking Dead season 1, I like how they set up the characters, the character arcs, Shane's eventual downfall. But overall,
a lot of the show changes. Like, it's a really different feel from the rest of the show.
it sure
Like
is.
you said, the zombies, the overall camera angles, it's a whole different feel. And I think that the first season was supposed to be its own individual movie, and that's maybe why. But it's a completely different feel. But out of all of season 1, what do you think your favorite season or scene is?
Out of all season 1, man, I'd feel like
Think of one
the run,
scene that sticks out to you.
the run from the CDC at the very end of the first season.
Oh,
I don't know, that something special about that scene. Like they're all thinking they're gonna die. Some people
yeah.
give up to say, you know what, I'll just accept it.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's when Andrea, like she wanted to give up, but Dale, her father figure,
Yeah.
wouldn't let that happen.
It's
So
an arc
like I
about
always,
survival.
yeah, it's definitely can be an emotional scene, but definitely my favorite. How about you?
I would have to say, I actually have a clip of it. I would have to say my favorite scene in season 1 is when Rick reunites with his family. Let's take a look at that quick.
Sure.
Enough to make a grown man cry.
Sure
Very
is.
emotional. One of the best scenes in the entire show, actually, not just season 1. One of the best in the entire show. Who do you think your favorite character is?
I think we all know what the answer is after seeing
Oh,
this
yeah.
here. Daryl Dixon, man, all the way.
Really? Like I said, you kind of give that vibe.
Appreciate that. How about you? What would you say that you resonate with the most?
I would have to say my favorite character is Glenn. Yeah,
Glenn,
I'm gonna
yeah,
have
you
I'm,
can't
I'm
go
gonna
wrong
have
with that.
I'm gonna have Rylan on here at one point, and I think he's gonna say the same thing. I just have a feeling. I think he's gonna say the same thing. Glenn
I
is
can
like
see
the
that.
heart of the show. Him and Dale. You know what I mean?
Man, up until his whatever happened in
Yeah.
season
No
7, man.
spoilers. No
No
spoilers.
spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah. Who's your least favorite character?
Oh, out of all season 1 or the whole series, would you say?
Season 1, because I
Season
feel like it
1.
changes a lot.
Shoot, man. It's hard to pick. I would have to
I
do
feel like
Merle. I got to do my
Merle.
fake brother Merle, man. I don't know. I feel like if he was a little different,
That is
if he
insane.
weren't so much
You
of
know,
a crazy
honestly,
guy.
that's kind of valid because, like, in the perspective of just season 1, he kind of is a bad person. No spoilers, but that redemption arc is like crazy. You know what I mean?
He sure is, yeah. Because, yeah, I bet nobody ever saw that coming when it came around to the few seasons later.
I would personally say Andrea, probably.
Andrea.
Maybe Lori. I don't know. It's a close call for me. But I also wanted to play a quick game with you.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to have a character draft.
Character
And
draft.
essentially what me and you are going to do is we are both going to pick one person back and forth until we have 3, and then we have to decide who is going to have the better team, who's going to survive. And I'll let you go first. I think I know you're going to pick, but
Yeah,
give
actually,
give
I'm
like
gonna
a brief.
switch things up a little bit. If I could pick one person to start off with, that would definitely have to be Shane Walsh, because all we know, the first thing we saw of him was taking control of that entire core group before Rick came in. So I feel like he's a pretty good leader. So that'll be my first option.
I would have to say Glenn. In matters of season 1, he has all of the he's the one that goes looting. He knows the layout of the city. He just knows his way around and he's in and out. I would pick him definitely.
That's definitely a good option too. All right, for my number 2, then I'll have to go back to Daryl, because he knows how to hunt. And so, like, sometimes to say that they're in a different area, they couldn't go supplying for food. Daryl knows how to hunt for deer, for squirrels, for rabbits. So, like, hey, you got food. He knows what he's doing. So that'll be my second option.
Mine would have to be Rick, just for his leadership. That's all I have to say.
All right. And let me see, my third one, if I could pick, Dale. You got to have somebody
Dale.
looking out for the group when you're not around.
Dale.
Yeah, Dale. He likes
is
to
like
keep
the
everyone together.
philosopher. He always
Yeah.
knows what to say. That's actually that's a good answer.
Even though
My
you might
third-
not have somebody to, like, go hunting or go
Yeah.
killing all the walkers, you got to keep someone to keep around and keep the
And that
morale
RV
high.
came in clutch too. That RV did come in clutch, did it not?
Sure did.
I would say for my third answer, I would say T-Dog, and simply because T-Dog is a very good second. T-Dog knows when he's needed. He doesn't talk too much, and he doesn't talk too little. I think T-Dog is one of the best team players in season 1.
I would agree.
Yeah. Doesn't talk too much, doesn't talk too little. He's just there when he's needed. And he saves. Oh, not going to. Spoiler.
We'll leave that for the viewers.
So who do you think's going to win?
Man,
I got Rick, Daryl. You got, who'd you pick? You picked Dale.
I got Shane. I got Daryl, and I got.
Man, you might lose just because you had Shane.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, unfortunately, we all know. I shouldn't say we all, but some people know what happens to Shane and what happens to the rest of the group. But I feel like, let's put it this way: if Rick wasn't involved, he never came back, would Shane have switched who he is or who he turned out to be?
Maybe. Fair enough. I'll have to give it to you, man. But Jake, it was a pleasure talking to you, and it's always a pleasure talking to a huge fan of the show. Coming up after this break, things are going to switch up. Let's just say we're going to get a perspective of someone that's watching the show for the first time. So, Jake, it was good seeing you, and we'll talk to you after this break.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome back to the watch party. Now I'm back here with Rylan. Rylan, I got you to watch The Walking Dead recently. How do you feel about it so far? Rylan, I cannot hear you.
Oh, did you hear me
There
now?
we go. Yes.
All right, sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
So yeah, I'm enjoying the show so far. I'm only about halfway through season 4, and I think it's a really good show.
So, like I said previously with Jake, there was a lot of differences between season 1 and the rest of the show. One of the biggest things was the season 1 director, Frank Darabont. And I think I told you a little bit about this, but Frank Darabont was the season 1 director of the show. And that's why, like I said before, season 1 has a completely different feeling. Like all the camera angles, you picked up on that, right? Like the walkers, everything's different. So there's actually a lot of behind the scenes gossip going on with season 1. Frank Darabont had a lot of different ideas when it came to running the show. It involved set ideas and creative differences, which everyone says when they're leaving a show. But essentially, Frank Darabont was just going back and forth with AMC this entire time until they finally fired him. And that's why after season 1, the show is completely different. And Frank Darabont was really, really good friends with most of the season 1 cast. So most of the people you see in that season 1 are on that show because of Frank. when Frank left, a lot of those people weren't happy and they wanted to leave. And I have a Frank lawsuit that came up, but he was not on good terms with AMC. It was a super big deal, and if you see that, they didn't. This wasn't until 2021. The Walking Dead came out in 2010, so this was a lawsuit that was going on for a super long time. And in my personal opinion, this isn't like facts, but I think that they ended The Walking Dead simply because of this lawsuit going on. Because they didn't actually end the show, but now they have a bunch of spinoffs. So I think that them having this lawsuit with Frank Darabont was an entire butterfly effect to the rest of the show. And that's why all the other seasons are different. But this lawsuit went on for decades, and I think that's part of the reason that the entire show is different after that. But you didn't know any of that, did you?
No, I've never heard this before. I definitely think that like, the show felt a lot different after season 1, and if they would have brought it on, it definitely wouldn't have had the dip that it does later in the series.
That's
And
crazy
I
that
just
you
think
know
it's
about the dip. You know about the dip. It's a real
yeah, I
thing.
haven't even gotten that far, and I already know that it's just not a very good there's a rough dip. And I think it's sad that the show really picked up, and then they were
Yeah.
willing to give a budget.
Well, speaking of dip, there's also a crazy Easter egg that not a lot of people know about. Do you remember the last episode of season 1 when they go to the CDC?
Oh yeah, that was
Yes.
when Rick was
Yes.
talking to that scientist.
And they meet Dr. Jenner. That's who you're talking about. This, you want to talk about dips. This is the holy grail of dips in The Walking Dead. This is what ruined the show for most of the audience. So they go to the CDC, and like me and Jake were talking about, it is a huge episode about survival. Everyone in our cast is given a chance to give up or keep going. And after Dr. Jenner doesn't want to have it, he's locked them in the CDC, and Rick pleads with him. And Rick finally lets him get them out. He says we're grateful, and Dr. Jenner says the day will come and you won't be. Flash forward. I have a little sneak peek here. There's a video that plays that clip and then a season 7 clip just to give you a spoiler. Let's look at it quick. The day will come and you won't be. That's the first episode of season 7. And there's a lot of secrecy behind this episode because it was a huge build up to who was going to be taken off the show, but it was the most controversial episode of the entire series. And I actually have a news article here saying that, if you want to take a look at this too. The show never recovered from this episode. It lost allegedly 4 million people. So I don't want to spoil too much for you, but what do you think about this?
Show, and I just think that it sucks that whoever dies or gets taken off the show, it's just sad that it must have been like some beloved character that people must have just really likes, and as long as it's not my boy Glenn, I'm okay with it, because Glenn is my favorite character.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, but it's really sad that just taking out one character caused like such a massive dip, and they could have made like so many other choices, because there's been a lot of added characters as new seasons come out of the show.
And I don't want to spoil too much, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily the character they take out of the show, but it's the way they take the character out. I'll give you that. Okay. But definitely one of my favorite things to tell people watching the show: the day will come and you won't be. It's one of the craziest. It kind of honestly ruins the show, but it introduces a new character that kind of saves the show. I mean, I've talked with you about how the later seasons of The Walking Dead just really aren't that good.
Mm-hmm.
But I know me and Van Essler have had our differences on that. But something to look forward to if you continue to watch. You think you're going to continue watching?
Definitely.
Well, anyways, Rylan, it was a pleasure to talk to you, and I hope you continue to watch the show. And I pray for judging on who you're rooting for in the show, because it can get hectic. But that is about all the time we have today. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Watch Party.
Yeah, of course.